Hey ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another book review, and this one's coming out early because this book came out on April the 9th. It is the 22nd book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, or the BDB. Now, if you've never read this series, that's fine. You can start off at this book because it is, I believe this is the second arc of the series. But if you're interested in reading the very first book, it starts off with this guy right here. Dark Lover. This is the book that started it all. This is one of the books that got everybody hooked. So if you want to start from the beginning, track down Dark Lover. It is hard to find sometimes. Now, I'm going to do a little rant. This book was good. I'm giving it a solid 4. This book got me back into wanting to read the Black Dagger Brotherhood, because I'm going to show you a book that made me not want to read anymore. This guy right here made me want to stop reading the Black Dagger Brotherhood. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want anybody else to be like, well, you trash your book. No, I just did. This wasn't it for me. So, I will say this book is going to be the second arc of the series. It's more about the main core of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, children, and I'm okay with that. The author said she wanted to get the children's stories out there before everything was too late. So I'm like, okay, we can do that. How she did it was neat, but I'm like, whatever. I will say this also. She has great world building, but you, in my opinion, you really should not read these books out of order, because you will miss little nuances that later come up and you're like, oh my goodness, that happened in such and such a book. And the weird thing is, she even does that in other series later, semi-connected to it. Like, she'll put little things, you're like, so that's why this was happening in this book. Got it. And you'd be like, wow, okay. But, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of not into her other series, and I get it, because, I mean, some of us have a special attachment to the BDB world. But let's get into it. So, this book is about Zadis. Now, he is book 3, and I'm going to show you the book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood. He's book 3 in that series. This book is a trigger book. You have triggers, I'm going to say you might not want to read this book. It's a hard book to get through, and it's just hard. Like, a lot of people that read it love it, but they're like, yeah, it can send you spiraling if you have certain triggers. So, this book is about Bella and Zeta's daughter, Nala. We were introduced to Nala in the other series, and we all fell in love with her. I'm going to say this right now. I am not a fan of Nala. She is just a rebellious, pissed off brat to her parents. Granted, they try to keep Zadis's trauma from her, but you know your father had trauma. Literally, when you see he's got tattoos, and these tattoos, I don't want to give away too much if you haven't read, tattoos indicate some kind of trauma that he went through. And she was like, Nala was like, well, he threatened to kill guys and do all this stuff, and no guy will ask me out, and if they do, it's a bet. And I'm like, girl, little girl, because that's what you're acting like, a little child. I get that it's hard, you're a grown woman, and you have an overprotective father. But it kills me that no one called her on this at all and was like, hey, your father's being this way because he loves you. He doesn't want you to end up with some jerk who's not worth your time. And that's basically what it was. Now, Nala, her guy is going to be Nate. You've met Nate, and I think book 20. I'm not sure. Oopsie, my camera. I believe it's like book 20. I'm not sure. Nate had a tortured past also, like really bad, and he's out there. So this is what I'm saying: spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You don't want spoilers? I would say this right now. This is a good book. If you've read the Black Dagger Brotherhood series and you've been kind of like, I don't know, give it a shot because this will get you interested in hopefully reading it again because it did mine. So, spoilers now, spoilers now. If you don't want spoilers, exit. So, Nala and Nate. Nala and Nate are just Zadis and Bella all over again. Although I will say this, Nala's got a little more spunk than her mother. Nate is tortured soul. He was basically, when he was younger, he was kept in a lab and experimented on and tortured. And Nala falls for him. And she's like, I don't really want a mate. I don't want anybody controlling, but she falls hard for Nate. And that's all I can say. Like, they're just Bella and Zadis in a new characters. That's how I see it. I do like the fact that by her falling for Nate, she realized what her mother and father were actually going through. I would say there was a sequence in the book where Nate was caught in a nightmare and Nala knew to clap because it was something that her mother did, but she didn't remember where she got it from. And later when her mom was, cooking or something, her mom clapped and she was like, Mom, thank you. And her mom was like, what? And she explained, and her mom was like, look, I'm not going to judge you for who you care about, but sometimes when someone's ruined, they're ruined and you can't bring them back. And she's basically saying, he is who he is, and you might not be able to help him, which it may seem harsh, but what she went through with Zadis and years and years and years, this is like 30 plus years of him being in therapy and he still has these issues. She's telling her, hey, it's not going to be an easy road. And Nala's a social worker at that, so she's prepared to do what she got to do. I don't want to give too much away in the book. Nate's is a mess. But what can you expect? Homie grew up in a lab being tortured. He is reckless and pissed off. And he's also an assassin for the human mob, which is a big no-no. And I love how the Brotherhood called him up on his crap. He went out with his friend one night and shot like a police spotter or whatever, and he didn't think that anything was going to happen because his dad had always gone to bat for him. And his dad was like, I'm done. I'm done. You want to be reckless? You want to be pissed off? You are no longer active with us. You're no longer, until you get your crap together, you think we didn't know what you were doing on the human side? Come on now. Which I think is funny and ironic that knowing who your tech guy is, you didn't think he was going to pick up on that? But in the end, Nala helped heal Nate, like Bella helped heal Sadist. And I love the fact that when they were fighting the Lessers, and if you've read the series, you know who the Lessers are, Zadis got hurt, and Nate just hauled butt to save him, was like, that's my father-in-law. And I was like, oh, Lord. It was really, really good. Now, I will say this. Nala is the perfect mixture of Bella and Zadis. Like, she really is. And as much as the attitude as Nala has, she's not prepared for when her parents put her in a place. And I was like, thank you. But as kids, I was never ready to hear what my parents had to say until I got older or situations slapped me in the face. I was like, yo, they had every right. They had every right. And every kid goes through that. I must say, I love the introductions of the side characters. It drew me in a little bit more. I love the interaction between LW and Bitty. So we know they're going to get together somehow. And I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think Biddy and LV, which is Little Wrath, and Bitsy are going to be drawn out maybe 4 or 5 books. I think she's going to do a slow burn like she did with Blay and Clay. I mean, Blay and Quinn. But with that book, if she don't bring the heat with LW and Biddy's book like she's promising, it's going to be an issue with a lot of people, I believe. I love how you see interactions with some of the kids. Not too much. Like, the main focus on the book was Lala and Nate and LW and Biddy. That's what I'm going to say. And guys, I know this is long. I have so much to say on this book, and I'm going to cut it off there because I think you guys should really read it. And in the comments below, let me know what you think, because I'm really interested to hear what people have to say. Because the last book was a mixed review of people like, I'm done. This book, I think, will draw enough people in that they will continue reading. Now, again, if you made it to the end of the review in my babbling, I'm going to say this. Start with book 1, Dark Lover. It is an excellent book. This is the first book in the series. You don't want to start there. Maybe start here, Zeta's and Bella's book, because these characters, Zeta and Bella, are Nala's mom and dad. So, book 1, Dark Lover. This is book 3. I may actually do I don't know. There's a lot of books. I was going to say I was going to pull out all my Black Dagger Brotherhood books, but that's too many. So again, this book came out. I'm ending my review. In the comments below, let me know what you thought. And everyone have a good morning, afternoon, evening. And I'm done babbling. Bye.